Okay, here's your very first study guide for Unit 1-1 to 1-6. Number 6, I noticed there should be a correction to the labeling, and your teacher probably told you about it. If not, you would correct the letters here. And where it says C prime, that should be A prime. Over here should be B prime, and down here should be C prime for number 6. Okay, and we'll discuss that when we get to that problem. For the front page, the directions say, determine what transformation has occurred. A translation, a rotation, or a reflection. So as a quick review, a translation is when the figure slides. It's either sliding up, down, left, or right. A rotation is when the figure turns, and it either turns clockwise or counterclockwise. And a reflection is a flip, and the figure flips typically over the x or the y-axis. Question number 1. Okay, looking at these triangles, I can determine that this triangle was there first because the letters are simply A, B, and C. And the transformation is over here because the letters have turned from to A prime and B prime and C prime. Okay, so let's see what happened here. It looks as if I just focus on one point, if I'm just going to focus on A, it looks like it went to the right and then down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It went to the right 6 and then down 3. So when a figure just moves to the right or left and up or down, that is a translation. Okay, so number 1 is translation. Okay, number 2, the original is the pink figure, and the transformation is the purple figure. Again, I know this because I'm looking at the letters B, C, and D, and then they're labeled B prime and C prime and D prime in the purple figure. So look for that first. Okay, now I'm imagining this looks like it's turned, and it's like turned backwards. So a turn, remember, was a rotation. So this does look like a rotation. And if it turns backwards, that is counterclockwise. It appears that it went 90 degrees. So if you wanted to try this with patty paper, you could see if that in fact is a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation. So I'm going to try to move this around, keeping that matched up there. And you can see, yes, it does fit back inside of itself when I go 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, question number 3. Again, focusing on the original. It looks like we might have a little typo right here. I think this is supposed to be the letter C. Okay, so this is the original, and this is the prime. And it looks like it's flipping. So I would call this a reflection. And when it flips, we want to see what it's flipping over. It looks like it's flipping over the x-axis. So what that means is, from the x-axis, the A is one block from the axis, and A prime is also one block. It's evenly spaced away from the axes. So, like, look at point C. There's 2 blocks to get to C, and 2 blocks to get to C prime. And then B is 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks away from the x-axis, and this one is 4 blocks away from the x-axis. So this one would definitely be a flip or a reflection over the x-axis. Number 4, I can see that the blue figure is the pre-image and the red figure is the transformation. The blue one's the pre-image because those letters, again, are just plain old X, Y, and Z. So I can see if I focus in on just one point like this X, and then the new X is here, it looks like the figure has turned. And a turn, remember, is a rotation. And when something turns, it's either going clockwise or counterclockwise. Since this one is turning in the direction of the clock, we call this a rotation, and it is going clockwise. And if it moves just from one quadrant to the next, that's 90 degrees. Every quadrant or every turn is 90 degrees. Also notice, I don't know if you notice, we have some patterns going on here with the numbers. It went from a -6 for the X value to a +6. And then the Y value is a 2, but now the X value is 2. So it's almost like there's a pattern here with our ordered pairs too that we'll begin to notice and discuss. Okay, number 5, I see my original with the A, B, and C, and then the A prime, B prime, and C prime is down here. I'm thinking translation here. If I look at point A, it looks like, let's see, over to the right 2 and down 3 to get to A prime. So it went to the right 2 units, and then it went down 3 units. So this would be a slide, which is a translation. Okay, so for this this picture here, I noticed that it was incorrectly labeled. So since this is our original image here, and this is our pre-image, I see that it looks like wings, and it's probably was intended to be a reflection. So this would be A prime, this would be B prime, and this would be C prime, and your teacher should have told you that. And knowing that it's a flip, we would call this a reflection. And it looks like those wings. And it is over, the mirrored image is over the y-axis. So if you want to make a note of that as well, because when we do a reflection or a flip, it's usually over the x or the y-axis or a certain line. Okay, on to the back side. We're going to apply the transformation to the following figures. So first, let's identify the ordered pairs of the pre-image. Okay, so beginning with D, remember to find the ordered pair, you give us the x value first and then the y value. So D is forward 1 and up 3. E is forward 5, up 3. F is forward 7 and down 1, so 7, -1. And G is forward 1, down 1, so forward 1, -1. Okay, now we're going to perform a translation, which is a slide. We're going to slide the figure to the left 4 and down 3. So the whole figure will go to the left 4 and down 3. I'm going to do this point by point. So beginning with D, I'm going to go to the left 4 and then down 3. And my new D will be right here. And I'm going to label that D prime. Okay, and I'm going to erase my little squiggles so my page doesn't get so messy. Okay, so D prime. Okay, now we're going to move point E. Same pattern. We're going to go to the left 4, down 3. Okay, so it's right there on the x-axis. Right there. So that is E prime. Label it E prime. And again, I'm going to erase these squiggles so it doesn't get so messy. Okay, now let's move point F. I'm going to go to the left 4, 2, 3, 4, and down 3. Okay, so it lands right there. And I'm going to mark that F prime. Okay, and then the last one, same movement, left 4 and down 3. And it's going to be right there. And label it G prime. Okay, then I'm going to neatly connect all 4 points. And then I should have a congruent figure, the same shape and the same size, just translated left 4 and down 3. And everything is labeled D prime, E prime, F prime, and G prime. Okay, 2A, we're going to identify the ordered pairs of the pre-image. Okay, just like we did on the last one, start in the origin, count how many forward and how many up. So A is forward 1, up 2. B is forward 4 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4, 6. C is forward up 2, 1, 2. Okay, so forward 7, up 2. And then D is forward 4 and then down 2. So forward 4, that's positive 4, but then down is negative. Okay, now we're going to do a 90 degrees counterclockwise turn about the origins. We're going to go back this way. So if you're using your patty paper, you may want to mark the origin first. And no, we're going to move 1 quadrant. 90 degrees is a 1 quadrant move. So we're going to go back 1 quadrant. Okay, so I'm going to take it back 1 quadrant and line it up. So it'll be about there. And then go ahead and trace it on there. Okay, so it'll mostly shift into quadrant 2. And it'll be lining up right there. So rotation 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, let's identify the ordered pairs in the pre-image. And remember the same strategy. Start in the origin, forward and up to get to point A. So it's forward 2, up 1. To get to point B, it's forward 5, up 1. To get to point C, it's forward 5 up to 6, so 5, 6. And to get to D, it's forward 2 and up 6. Okay, so hopefully you're finding success naming your ordered pairs. Now we're going to reflect over the y-axis, okay? So we're reflecting or flipping over the y-axis. So you need to know that the horizontal side-to-side axis is the x-axis, and then the up and down is the y-axis. So we're going to flip over the y-axis. To do that, all we have to do is count an even amount of spaces from the axis. So notice here, looking at point A, see how it's 2 blocks away from the y-axis? Just reverse that, and that's where your A prime will go. So A is 2 spots forward, so B is 2 spots back. A prime, is 2 places back. Okay, point B is 5 places forward. So from the y-axis, reverse that and go 5 places back, and that is where B prime would be. And label that B prime. And then point D, or point C if we wanted to go alphabetically, point C is 5 places forward, so it's we go to the y-axis and we go 5 places back. So it's just evenly spaced. And mark that C prime. And then finally, point D is 2 units forward, So go 2 units or 2 blocks back for D prime. And label that D prime. And then connect your figure. Okay, so we've flipped it evenly and we've labeled everything.